Hey folks, Dude here, coming at you on a course Monday, February 1st. Now, there's a cool thing that's coming out, and it's going to be about, well, pretty much the coolest thing about February. Samsung is going to release, they're going to basically broach it for everybody to see and show you what the nuts and bolts, ins and outs of the S7 flagship phone. There's going to be an S7, there's going to be an S7 Edge. The Edge is the one that's got that wraparound screen. The other one is more of a traditional screen. In terms of actual size, it's going to be pretty close. Maybe just a skosh bigger than my S3. My S3 has been an awesome phone, but you guys can see I do actually have the lines of death. Yeah, that's right. It's got a crack in it. I did drop it. Still functions fine. I mean, there's no worries on that one. It still is a good working phone. It's a kick-ass unit. I've had nothing but awesome service out of this phone, and let's just go to the precursor to the current of what I got now. Previously, I had the Stratosphere, which was a slider phone. So basically, a little bit smaller screen, a little bit smaller footprint than this. Battery compartment was a lot more forgiving. I put a huge honking battery in that thing. I found it off of eBay. And with that battery, yeah, it was chunky, man. I mean, with the same kind of case that I run now, I usually run these holster ones that basically protect the screen, and you just kind of drop it in there, clicks in place. And of course, it does have a built-in kickstand, which is kind of nice. But the battery on the thing is huge. You've seen the guy. You've seen that guy in previous videos from a couple of years ago, and I've had this S3 since then. This has been an awesome, awesome phone. Where the Stratosphere would kind of bog down and lag between switching things, and you had to go and hit the home button and say, Taskmaster kill, Taskmaster kill. Android later versions, I think this one is a 4.4.2 operating system. The newest one, I think, is going to be Marshmallow or something like that. It is going to be an absolute ass kicker. But let's just run from north to south. Okay, the S4 was a little bit better. It's closer probably to the Note in terms of getting a bigger screen and operation thereof. The S4 is a nice phone. The S5 is a very, very nice phone. It's probably going to be what I go to when I get rid of this one. I'm probably going to go to an S5. Reason being, the S6 got to be very much like an iPhone. You basically had a sealed back, which was glass. You had a sealed front, which of course was glass. You lost that marvelous thing that made these guys so unbelievably easy to wrench on. You have an SD slot. You have an easily accessible battery pack. Mrs. Dude runs hers with everything on all the time. When I'm using mine, I turn on mobile data, bing, 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 go on the net, do what I need to do, turn off mobile data, and I conserve my battery life as much as possible. Very, very, very rarely do I need to recharge my phone in the course of a day. At worst, I'll get it down to like 25 or 30%. That's because I've been actually playing games for a while. Hill climb racing. Yeah, it's still one of my kind of mini addictions there. I still play hill climb racing quite a bit on this phone. It's a good playing game. The graphics on it are decent. When I turn off mobile data, it's not constantly calling home and pulling up commercials and all the rest of that stupid stuff. That's just annoying. But the nice thing about this one is when Mrs. Dude runs down a battery and it's going beep beep, feed me, beep beep, feed me, beep beep, feed me, beep beep, feed me. She goes, okay, fine. Pops off the back, pops out a spare battery, slaps another battery. The batteries for these things and the chargers for these things on eBay, unbelievably cheap. The batteries are about $5 or $6 a piece. The charger's like another $5 or $6. So literally for about 20 some odd dollars, you literally can run your phone for about 3 days straight. Literally. You just simply pop out a battery, pop another battery. And the way that she runs and guns with hers with the 4G on all the time and sucking down and loads and loads and loads of things constantly running and all these apps constantly checking home and interrogatory and answering and all the rest of this fun stuff, they eat a lot of juice. This one is really not that much of a battery hog. The S5 is a little bit more of a battery hog, but it's got a better battery. Case in point, I'll probably still run it the same way. I'm going to turn off the mobile data when I don't need it, and I'm not doing online stuff or all these extended things that the apps are asking for, additional stuff. If they work offline, I'm going to use them offline. There's no reason for me to enable the mobile data and have it going, this, that, and the other thing. I'm going to try to sell you this and talk to this person and this, that, and the other thing and update, blah, blah, blah. And I don't use clouds, okay? I just put in a bigger card. Now, of this, I think I've only got a 32 gig card. I have yet to fill a 32 gig card. Now, these things come out of the factory, usually 8 or 16 gig internal OS. I have yet to fill the internal OS on this thing. What I normally do is I'm running something and I'll pull it off and I'll put it on the card. Then what I'll do is I'll backlog that information on my computer, then put it into a secondary, external hard drive so I'm backed up completely. If I crash and burn this thing, okay, I've watered around it, it's dead. Pull the card. All my information's on there. All my contacts are in there. All my secondary game information is in there. All my photos are in there. All my personal information I need to know is on the card, not so much in the phone. That's how you save yourself a lot of OS and, basically RAM and operating stuff. Don't let your phone clog up with tons of crap. Put it on the card. That was a nice thing that you basically had going up to the S5. With the S6, it was a sealed phone, more like the iPhone. You had to cloud everything. I don't like sending my information out to somewhere else. Who knows where a Stan, or who knows whereville, or who knows this, that, and the other thing. All this other crap going out over the net about storing your stuff somewhere else that you have no direct contact with. I don't like that, okay? I'd rather put my stuff on a card. Things are going screwy. I pull the card out. My phone is pretty much just a phone. Yeah, there's going to be some secondary information there. There's going to be some secondary other things in there. But all my primary stuff is on this itty-bitty card. I can stick anywhere. It's about the size of my little fingernail. Good to go. Now, the S6, like I said, was a sealed unit. The S7, now I'm getting to the mega mother here. The S7, they heard it already said. The announcement date is just literally just breaking now. The announcement date for the S7 is going to be February 22nd. This thing is going to be an outrageously good retro thing for one very good respect. It's going to have a supported SD card slot. That's cool. That's very, very cool. Now, I'm looking at the Forbes article here. Of course, they're now teasing the crap out of some guys looking like a CGI thing and opening like a box, doing like, kind of like a, basically the guy's doing like the kind of, in Netscape kind of thing. He's looking, looking through the goggles and he's like reaching out with his hands and what have you. But the S7 is going to have a 5.2-inch display. It's going to get a 20% larger battery than the 6, which is going to go to 2,550 milliamp hours to 3,000. Nice. The 7 is going to get a bigger screen, 5.5 inches, and it'll get 40% more battery capacity from 26 to 36. 3,600 milliamp hours. That is cool, and it's not that much bigger a phone. Now, the specs on the thing is going to be, it's going to be bigger, okay? They compare the 7 and the 7 Edge. The 7 is going to be a 5.1 inch. The Edge is going to be a 5.5 inch. Okay, when you start getting into something, it's getting too big, okay? You're starting to approach like Note size. It's too big, it's too bendy, it's too flippy. You stick it in your back pocket, you sit down and I don't care how strong Samsung makes that stuff. You stress and bend a phone, it's going to break, okay? But these things are tough. I mean, this thing dropped on the concrete like, bam! And I only got one crack this way, one crack that way, and of course my front camera is a little occluded, but this thing still is functional. I mean, it still works. A lot of iPhones, you drop them, and they're just like dropping a china plate on the concrete. They're gone. Samsungs usually are a lot tougher. Now, they say it's going to have a fingerprint scanner, which is, it's okay. The home button is the fingerprint scanner. If you use stuff like that, just put in a code or something. I don't even use a code. Normally, I just basically just swipe and I'm going. But I don't do that code stuff. A phone is normally close enough to me. It's on my person. If anybody's going to try to take my stuff, the first thing I'm going to do with the bad guy when it comes up to me and says, give me your phone, I'm going to take the phone and I'm going to body slam it onto the ground. That way he's going to go, you dick. Yeah, that's right. You got no phone, boo. Bye. And he's going to run off going, oh, this sucks. Yeah, the phone is now on the ground. It's shattered. He basically bite me because all my stuff is still in the card, which didn't break. Now, the nice thing also, the support on the thing for cards is going to be ridiculous. This thing will only support up to about a 64 gig card, I think it is. The 7 will support up to 128 gigs. That's huge, man, okay? 128 gigs for a SD card. You're kind of approaching what we're pretty much maxed out at right now. Yes, I know they're going to have bigger cards going down the road, but that is as big as we're going. Right now, the retail price on this thing is looking right around about like $650. Not cheap, but you know what? Like anything else that they do make, the stuff is going to be expensive at first and then go down. So, case in point, what I'm going to say on my actual instances here, I'm going to go to the S5. I'm going to wait a few years for the S7 to go down in price. Then I'll reassess whether I wish to have it or not. But by and large, the way phones work with the obsolescence on the obsolescence, built-in obsolescence, after about a year or so, they're old hat and everybody wants to go into the next bigger, better thing. I'm not that anal, man. You know what? If a phone is kick-ass and it's only a year old, I'll still roll with it. I will still roll with it. As a matter of fact, when I got this thing, Verizon was pretty much clearing out of the S3s going, sorry guys, we're not getting in the S4s. And I was like, well, what do you got left? And they're like, well, you know, we got this one, we got that one. There's like the last couple left. Mrs. Dude and I jumped on the last couple S3s because they've been just an awesome phone. Literally, you can run tons of stuff. Minimal lag, good processors, decent battery life. I've been very happy with this one. And Samsung, kicking it right out of the park as usual, man. They are a force to reckon with, man. You know, I know that people really like the Motorola's, and there's a lot of other really good brands out there, and a Hongwei or Highway or whatever that, the Chinese brand is, gets really good marks. I've had excellent luck with Samsung, and this is on my second or third Samsung. You know what? These guys in LGs really, truly are pretty much just really kick-ass little phones. I've just had really good luck with them. So I'm going to break up with this one, folks. S7 bound? I don't think so. S5 bound, probably. No. I'm going to rock and roll on this one, folks. Eat good, keep tendering, as always. Have a good Monday, and see you guys later on.